It's curious how sometimes what we most want to share is precisely what will be least understood. There are moments when opening the heart feels more like a mistake than a gesture of love. How many times have you tried to offer something precious, advice, a word of faith, a teaching, and ended up being misunderstood, ridiculed, or even attacked? It's painful to realize that not everyone is ready to see the value of the pearls we carry in our soul. But what if this experience has a greater purpose? What if, in fact, God is using these situations to teach us to distinguish the right moment to speak and the right moment to be silent? Think about it. Is the problem in what you offer or in who tries to receive it? Today's video will show you that Jesus had already prepared us for this, and that there is a divine wisdom hidden in these seemingly simple words. Do not cast your pearls before swine. There is a transformative power in understanding the why of these words and how to apply them in every relationship in life. You will discover how this teaching goes far beyond moral advice. It is an invitation to spiritual maturity, to true faith, and to the wisdom that comes from above. The chosen one is the one who learns to preserve what is sacred without losing love, patience, and hope. You will leave this video stronger, more aware, and above all, more connected to God and the purpose He planted in you. Jesus did not speak just to instruct. He spoke to transform. Before a crowd tired of lifeless traditions, He brought something new, alive, and radical. A way of living that did not depend on appearance, but on essence. The Master did not come to reinforce rules. He came to reveal the kingdom. And there, amid words of faith and challenges to human logic, He showed that true justice does not arise from the cold fulfillment of the law, but from intimate connection with God. It was in that setting that He planted seeds of love, humility, and discernment, principles that would shape the character of the true chosen one. On that simple hillside, Jesus redrew the spiritual map of humanity. He showed that the path of faith is not about perfection, but about inner transformation. The kingdom He proclaimed was not in stone temples, but in the heart of those who truly sought it. By teaching about anger, forgiveness, generosity, and love for the enemy, He dismantled human pride and built the bridge between man and the divine. Every word was an invitation to spiritual maturity, to the courage to live what one believes, even when the world laughs at faith. It is precisely in this atmosphere that the teaching about pearls and swine emerges, a call to wisdom that goes beyond appearances. In the heart of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus revealed that true faith manifests in relationships, not just in prayers or temples. He taught us to deal with people when they hurt, frustrate, or disappoint us. This is the true test of a chosen one's character, to react with grace when it would be easier to respond with anger. That is why this part of the sermon was divided into 3 complementary teachings, like steps leading to wisdom. The first teaches not to judge, the second to look inward, and the third to discern where to place the heart. Each step is a lesson on balance and love in action. These 3 teachings form an inseparable link, like 3 strands of the same spiritual cord. Jesus did not want people to just understand what love is. He wanted them to live it in every gesture, in every glance. Divine wisdom lies in recognizing the boundary between helping and invading, between guiding and imposing, between offering pearls and preserving them. When this is understood, relationships cease to be battlefields and become bridges of healing. And it is from this point that He presents the first of these teachings, the subtle danger of placing oneself in the judge's seat. Judging is a vice disguised as virtue. It is easy to point out others' errors when we do not have to face the mirror. Jesus knew this. That is why He began by saying, "Do not judge so that you may not be judged." These words are not a simple warning, but a spiritual mirror. He shows us that when we condemn someone, we reveal more about ourselves than about the other. Those who live pointing fingers miss the chance to extend a hand. The true chosen one understands that the compassionate gaze is more powerful than any criticism, because it comes from a heart aligned with God. The Master taught that no one knows the weight another carries. Every person fights invisible battles, and only grace can see them. Condemning is easy. Understanding requires faith and empathy. Those who walk with God learn that judging is like throwing stones at one's own roof. Sooner or later they come back. Therefore, before accusing, it is better to take a deep breath and remember, I err too. This awareness changes everything. It transforms the impulse to judge into a desire to help. And it is precisely there that the second teaching emerges, the call to self-examination and correction with love. Nothing reveals more spiritual maturity than the ability to look inward. Jesus, with divine wisdom, used a simple and powerful image. Why do you see the speck in your brother's eye but do not notice the log in your own? It is a vivid metaphor for human hypocrisy, the tendency to see others' errors with a magnifying glass and one's own with nearsightedness. The chosen one is the one who decides to reverse this logic. Instead of seeking culprits, he seeks growth. He understands that self-criticism is the shortest path to true transformation because it clears the vision and makes room for love. Practicing self-examination is an act of courage and faith. It requires stopping, silencing, and allowing God to reveal what needs healing. When someone is willing to acknowledge their flaws, they cease to be a judge and become an instrument of peace. Correction then stops wounding and starts healing. Correcting with love means telling the truth without losing tenderness, touching the wound without hurting. This kind of attitude transforms relationships, families, and even entire communities. And it is in this climate of wisdom and discernment that Jesus presents the most provocative enigma of the sermon, the mystery of pearls and swine. Few phrases of Jesus arouse as much curiosity as this. Do not give what is holy to dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine. At first glance, it seems harsh, even strange. But as with everything the Master said, there is depth between the lines. He used everyday images to reveal eternal spiritual truths. The pearls represent what has value before God: wisdom, love, faith, and revelation. The swine symbolize closed minds and hearts, incapable of recognizing the value of the holy. Thus the lesson is clear: not everything precious can be given to just anyone, because not everyone is ready to understand. Jesus was not speaking of contempt, but of discernment. He knew that true love also knows how to set boundaries. Giving a deep truth to someone who does not want to hear it is like throwing treasures into the mud. Beauty is lost, and frustration remains. How many times in the eagerness to help have we ended up hurt by those who were not prepared to receive? This warning is not to harden the heart, but to protect it. God does not want the chosen one to waste their strength on those who still live rejecting the light. And to better understand this wisdom, one must dive into the meaning of these symbolic figures, starting with the dogs. In Jesus' time, dogs did not have today's prestige. They were not faithful companions, but wild, impure, and feared animals. They roamed the streets in search of scraps, attacking when threatened. Therefore, when he said, "Do not give what is holy to dogs," he was speaking of something much deeper than animals, of human attitudes that despise the sacred, mock faith, and turn the divine into ridicule. It is the portrait of those who reject God's presence because they are trapped in their own arrogance. It is about discerning to whom to offer what is holy, without confusing love with naivety. The teaching is direct but full of mercy. Jesus does not say to hate the dogs, but not to profane what is pure. This teaches us that loving also means knowing how to preserve. Not every heart is ready for spiritual food. Some still need time, experiences, falls, and reunions with grace. The chosen one understands that forcing a revelation is like plucking a flower before its time. Beauty and purpose are lost. In every feast and celebration of the people of Israel, sacred food had a profound role. It was not just nourishment, it was communion. Eating before God symbolized covenant, belonging, and gratitude. It was the moment when body and spirit met, united in faith. When Jesus mentions this food in his teaching, he is reminding that what is holy has a certain destination, those who recognize its divine origin. Offering the sacred to those who despise it is like trying to light a candle in the middle of a storm. The wind extinguishes it before the flame grows. This spiritual principle spans the centuries. Even today, many give their sacred portions, time, energy, love, faith, to those who treat them carelessly. It is like sharing bread with someone who tramples it without perceiving its value. God calls us to wisdom. Preserving what is holy is not selfishness, it is zeal. The chosen one understands that the purpose of the sacred is to generate life and communion, not waste and profanation. Therefore, discerning where to invest the heart is an act of mature faith. And to understand this richness in all its depth, one must look at another symbol Jesus chose: the precious pearls of divine wisdom. Among the ancients, pearls were rare jewels, worthy of kings. None formed without pain. It was the result of something precious born from a wound. So too is God's wisdom. It arises from process, time, tested faith. When Jesus uses this image, he speaks of what heaven reveals to willing hearts. Pearls represent the truths that transform, the counsels that free, the secrets that only the Spirit can teach. And the chosen one learns not to share this treasure with those who mock faith, but with those who seek sincerely. The great lesson here is about value. Those who recognize the shine of spiritual pearls understand that every divine teaching is a gift of love. The swine, a symbol of impurity in Jewish culture, have no sensitivity to distinguish the sacred from the common. That is why Jesus warns, "Do not waste wisdom where there is contempt." It is not pride, it is prudence. There are moments when silence is wiser than 1,000 words, and guarding what God has revealed is also a way to worship Him. But when one insists on giving pearls to those who are not ready, a greater risk is run, and that is what the next teaching is about. Not every soil is ready to receive the seed, and Jesus knew this. When someone tries to share wisdom with a hardened heart, the result is almost always rejection. That is what he meant by warning about the swine that trample the pearls and turn against the one who offered them. This image is strong but real. There are people who, unable to understand the value of truth, prefer to attack it. And the most painful is when it comes from those we love. Therefore, discerning the right moment to speak is also protecting what God has planted within us. The chosen one learns, often through pain, that insisting on offering light to those who choose darkness is wasting sacred energy. There is a silent wisdom in waiting for God's time to act in the other. Forcing a revelation before its time is like opening a rosebud before it blooms. Beauty is lost. Thus, Jesus' invitation is to patience and serenity. Sharing truth is not imposing, it is sowing. And when the seed falls on good soil, it bears fruit naturally. From this understanding comes the greatest lesson of the teaching, the divine art of knowing when to speak and when to be silent. There are moments when silence speaks louder than any speech. Jesus, master of the word, was also master of silence. He knew how to discern when to respond and when to just look with compassion. This is wisdom in its purest form, a balance between firmness and peace. Speaking at the right time is a virtue. Being silent at the right hour is a gift. The chosen one, guided by faith, understands that there are wars won without arguments, only with the serenity of those who trust in God. And this, more than power, is spiritual maturity. Knowing how to be silent is not cowardice, it is self-control. It is allowing the Holy Spirit to guide the words instead of impulse. It is letting love decide when it is time to sow and when it is time to just water with prayer. This wisdom frees the heart from the need to convince and connects it to the divine will. Silence, when born of faith, becomes strength. And it is at this point that Jesus' teaching is completed. Speaking and being silent can both be acts of love when guided by God's light and the heart of the chosen one.